All right, welcome back to another video of on-base baseball. In this short little series, I'm showing you all the different game pieces, and I'll get into gameplay a little bit for on-base advanced, which is a new version of on-base baseball. We've gone through the first 6 rolls off of the pitcher card first, and then the hitter card. There's one more roll in the game, and that's roll number 6. You can see here. And roll number 6 determines where in the field the ball went. Is there a need to do an error check or a range check? There's also still a possibility that even if the batter didn't get an automatic hit in roll number 5, that the batter can still get on base with a safe hit or even a home run, depending on where the ball is hit and what type of contact the batter made. So you can see here that you'll roll 2 D10 dice. We're always rolling 2 D10 dice for every roll. The die should be different colors so that you can determine this is the number 1 dice and this is the one I'm reading second. So you need to be able to read them first and second and have consistency there. And I have this little fold out sheet here, you can see. These are the different matrices for the different types of outs. Now these correspond here to the fly ball, ground ball, line drive, right? So depending on the type of out or the type of hit that it is, depends on, it'll lead you to the specific matrix that you need to use for fielding. So let's say we had a fly ball. So we'll be looking at the fly ball matrix here. Let's see if we can get that up a little bit. And it's hard to see on this particular printout. Maybe yours will be better. But basically this is the left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, and third base, short, second, first, pitcher, and catcher, right? So we have these different parts of the field that we can hit the ball to. So when we roll our 2 D10 dice, instead of putting them together to make like a 36 or a 52 or a 99, we see them as separate. So the first one is a 1 to a 10, and then the second die is a 1 to a 10. And the way that we read this is, let's say we rolled a 59. So we would go up vertically to the 5, and then we would go horizontally over to the 9, and that would be a fly ball to the right fielder. So you can see a 59 would go to the right fielder. So that's sort of basically how you read each of these different matrices. And we have some special sort of things out here, especially, well, these are on every matrix, and they are these little white circles. The little white circles represent range plays. So if it's hit, let's say it's a 10-5, and that normally would be a fly ball to the left fielder, but in this case it's hit into the gap pretty close to the wall, so this is basically hit up to the warning track. And so now this left fielder's got a range into the gap, and it's no given that he's going to get there, so we don't play any givens on some of these squares. If there's no circle or anything, then it's just an automatic out, so he's just playing it straight back and makes a play. But here it's having to range a little bit, whether it's coming in on the ball at the line, going back to the corner, going into the gap at the wall. Just wanted to try to simulate the fielder having to make a play on a ball and get a little bit more offense, or at least a potential for a little bit more offense into the game. And so the player would be in this dot. We have to roll against the left fielder's defense. So if you have looked at the batter cards here, you can see his defense. This is Donaldson, who's not a left fielder, but if he were the left fielder, we would use his defensive rating, which is a 72, and then we would roll the 2 D10s, and if the roll was a 1 to a 72, then he would make the play here. So his range gets him to the ball. If it was a 73 to 100, then he does not make the play. And on a fly ball here, I would consider that to be a double. If you wanted to see if the player stretched it into a triple, you could roll against his BSR, his base running value. And if it's, let's say Donaldson hit that ball to the gap, the left fielder couldn't make the play. Then you would roll against his BSR number here. Let's see if we can get that in there. So you roll against his BSR number. And if it's a 1 to a 38 for Donaldson, then he would take the extra base. If it's 39 to 100, then he would stay at second. So you can play extra bases, see if they stretch it into extra bases that way. The other thing are if roll number 6 is double, so let's say it was an 88. The center fielder normally would just make the play, but on a double, we need to do an error check. And the way that we do error checks is exactly like range checks. So we just look at the defensive rating, the defensive value, and we roll. So if the center fielder were Donaldson and it's a 1 to a 72, then he makes the play. If it's a 73 to 100, then it's an error on the play. So a better defender is going to have fewer chances or possibilities for an error. Again, that only comes up if there's a double. So it can come all through here. So if you could have an error check on the second baseman, error check on the shortstop here. There's a couple of checks for the second baseman, and an error here for the pitcher as well. So you have to, as we play through this, again, it's a demo. So if you see some things that are sort of glaring inconsistencies, then make sure you provide feedback. I already see like little tiny things in the game that could be problems. Don't know if they actually will be problems or not, but they could be. Last thing I want to show you on here is especially for a fly ball or a line drive, which this is the let's see here. This one here is the line drive chart. So you can see that there's a few more opportunities to hit balls. If you're hitting it hard in the gap, you have a better chance of sort of getting it by the outfielder and the outfielder making a play. So a few different types of range checks there. And on the ground balls on the infield, you can see that there is a triangle. So not only are there range checks, these are all infielders, by the way. No outfielders on the ground ball outs, not playing that way. They have these triangles every so often, and these are going to be automatic double plays. So if the ball's hit here to one of these squares, then the play is going to be an automatic double play. If there's an opportunity to make a double play, say a runner is on first, then that's just going to be an automatic double play in that situation. If it's 2 outs with a runner on first, you can choose to go the short way or the long way to first, either one. And the way I'm counting double plays is you get the 2 lead runners. So 2 lead runners will be out. That may or may not be very realistic in some particular instances, so you can manipulate that and change it if you want. So bases are loaded and they hit it to the third baseman, you could go home to first. You could do a couple of different things if you want to. On fly balls and line drives, if the ball is hit to these outer edges, so if one of the die is a 10, whether it's this one, the y-axis or the x-axis, if it's a 10, you're going to wind up at the edge here. And what I've been doing is I've just been rolling against the batter's home run percentage. So let's say Donaldson hits a 10-10 right up here to this gap. It's a line drive deep to center field, and it's in this square right here. What I would do is I would roll the 2d10s, and then if the number there is 1 to 7, then that would be a home run. If it's 8 to 100, then it's going to be whatever play is made here. If it's here, it would be an out. If it was hit here, then it's no home run. But then we need to still do the range check on that. And so we would check the center fielder on a range play. And that's only for balls hit right up to the wall. And this, if one of the die is a 10. This, you can also download this fielding matrix with the game pieces, and I'll put the link in the descriptions of these videos. That way you can get these fielding matrices too that you can use. And so these are going to determine your outs. They're going to determine quality of outs. A fly ball to the infield is obviously going to be a pop-up. A hit here that a player can't get to on a fly ball is sort of like a bloop single. So you can think of them that way. These are drives into the gaps. You know, these would be hard hit balls, ground balls between first and second or down the line, or hit sort of far away from the pitcher and the catcher, so that they need to try to make a play on those range plays. And the same thing. So, you know, this is a ground ball hit down the third baseline between short and third. And then this would be, you know, a ground ball hit right up the middle behind the bag, that type of thing, where you need your shortstop or second baseman to kind of range and make a play. And same thing here. You know, these are line drives down the line in the corner, in the gaps, sort of smoke down the line, right at the bag, first and third, hit right back to the pitcher. So we have some range plays that we need to resolve. And if it comes out as a hit, then that's a hit for the batter. So the batter does have a couple of chances. There's one chance here with roll number 5 to get a safe hit. And then once the batter hits safely, I just move on to the next batter. I don't really care where the ball goes myself. You can try to keep those locations and things like that if you want to. But roll 5 is just, it's a hit, done at bat. Roll 6, though, you can still try to get a base hit. There's still a possibility for a single or a double or even a triple, depending on the quality of the hit and where it gets hit in the field. So hopefully this adds a little bit of dynamic fielding, some sort of dynamic plays to the fielding. And so if you excuse me, if you think of any other sort of plays maybe that we're missing, feel free to leave those in the comment section or to give feedback on those. The game is still very much in development, and any feedback that you can give would be great. I'm listening to anyone and everyone who is playing it, and really appreciate people who talk about the game. So in the next video, I'm going to show you sort of the basic interaction between the pitcher and the batter, and then over to the fielding plays.